What's up guys, welcome to the 7th lesson of the essential tools in Photoshop. In this lesson we're going to talk about the brush tool. So we're going to see one of the most common tools in Photoshop. We're going to see how to use the different settings and how we can also manipulate the brush in order to achieve a bespoke brush for the kind of job that we need. So let's jump straight away in Photoshop. In this way we can see. It's a fantastic tool which gives us the opportunity to paint custom brush strokes. You will probably use a lot in Photoshop. It allows you to do lots of things. Few things about the brush. Right now I've got a black color select, which is my foreground, and background is the white. In case I want to select another color, you can click on swatches. You can click swatches, and this way we can pick the color that we want. Or we can also select a color from an image by pressing Alt. This is where we got the color picker. And I go back in a new layer and I can use the color that I've just selected. Here we got these little ones which brings you back to the original setting, which is black and white. If I select my first color, my foreground color, it will be the one that I just select. I can swap it. In this way I can select a second color, and then you can press X in a very easy way to swap between the foreground and the background color. This way you can use two colors in a quick way, which is a fantastic thing about the brush. So we got tons of opportunities to change our brush settings, and also you can changing the exactly brush. So when you click on the brush settings or brush, we can see that we got different brushes. You can also download some brush from third parties, or you can also download brushes from Adobe where they already been designed. At the moment you can see the variation in color because I've got the pressure on my tablet. So now I'm using a pen and a tablet, and as soon as I click stronger, I got more deposit. If I use the pen, so if I use the mouse, instead I've got more harsh, because obviously there is no gentle pressure on it. Which is the kind of features that you can easily play around within the settings. Now brush settings instead, you've got different options to adapt to your brush, to the specific things that you need to do. Now, for example, let's go back in soft around brush. You got different ones that you can tick them and play around with each of them. So I really suggest you to play around with the brush, and this way you can find one that you really like to use for the specific type of work that you need to do. You've got different modes that you can play around, which is different mode of blending and things like that. You've got So opacity is very important. Now let's paint a few strokes. You can also play around with the size of your brush. You can press Ctrl and Option. You keep them pressed, and then you press and drag your mouse right and left. You can play around with the diameter of your brush. When we paint, we can see I'm creating a 100% opacity. So I've got 100% of black. When you lower down the opacity, I've got my black on 50%, on 45%. So we can see there is slightly bit more gray. If I want to build up more of a black, I need to click every time and create a new brush stroke. Because if I click once and I keep painting, I'm still painting on 45%. Now, what is the difference between opacity and flow? Very simple. Opacity gives you a limit for each brush stroke of the amount of the color that you're applying. But if I bring the flow of 45, we can see that with one brush stroke I go over again and again, I'm building up the 100%. So you play around with it and it's going to be very easy for you to understand. This is the pen pressure. Now if I ticked it on, everything is 100%, but because I'm using a pad and a pen, as soon as I keep more pressure, I'm going to be able obviously to build up more strength. If I use the mouse, I'm not going to be able to use it. This is the key thing behind this little friend up here. Now, let's say, for example, we want to create a straight line with the brush. We can see it's very struggling. So when you want to do it, it's very easy. So you need to click, press shift, and then you move towards left or up, down, whatever you want, and it will give you a straight line. If you keep press shift and then you click, you can see automatically it creates a straight line point by point. Instead, if I want just one straight line, click, shift, and then you move. Okay? In case I want to keep drawing, let's say a triangle, I just keep shift on and click and click. Smoothing is a fantastic tool and setting. Let's use a small brush. Let's say, let me use a harsh brush. So we go in brush, hard around. When I want to create a wave, you can see it's not really smooth, this wave. If I bring the smoothing, let's say 100%, we can see it gives me the opportunity to create a smooth wave effect. Even me, that I'm not great in drawing, it gives me the opportunity to create a very smooth effect. So which is perfect when you need to create something like that. We can change a little bit of settings about the smoothing options. You can also change around the intensity. You can also incline your brush in different angles. This is similar features of the pen. Let's use it. So I'm gonna use a bigger brush. So now I'm just using my pen. So as soon as I clicked a little bit, we can see it creates a little dot. But my brush is quite big. So as soon as I keep pushing and keep pressing, my brush stroke gets bigger and bigger. If I take it off, a big one straight away. But when I use this one, as soon as I start to paint, it's quite small. Then as soon as I press and I create more pressure, it gets wider. Very cool new features, which is for symmetry. Okay, now I've got this little straight vertical line. You can always play around and adapt it. Now let me use a little bit more of a smaller brush. Let me add smoothing. Now I'm trying to draw. I'm just drawing on the right side, but automatically it's drawing on the left side as well. So obviously when you need something a little bit more symmetric, this is a great tool to use. Okay, let me see if I can make a butterfly, but I'm not that good. So this is fantastic because if you think about it, doing once, then you need to copy and paste. It's very tricky. This does automatically everything. You can also click it off. You can bring all the setting down to the originals. Very cool tool, most used in Photoshop. You can play around to create your perfect settings for the type of brush that you need for your specific works, and you can also save them. You can also download them and upload them to your Photoshop program. Fantastic tool.